The following podcast is a part of the Spin Studio Network.
This is Happy Hour with Lucy and Nikki. Today's episode is brought to you by Mecca Cosmetica.
Cheers, babes. Welcome to Happy Hour with Lucy and Nikki, the real life shit that you only discuss over a drink. But before we start, a little disclaimer.
So today's disclaimer is a little bit different. We are here for a good time and not a long time, but today we actually have some very special guests and we are going to be covering some very serious topics. And we did want to let you guys know before we do go on that it is quite a serious episode and there's definitely some tears. So if you're here for a laugh, maybe it's not the right episode for you. However, it is a very, very important topic that we are covering.
Yeah, so today we've been lucky enough to have two very amazing girls. We've got Courtney, who's actually our producer, and Gina, who's from Brisbane, who we actually knew through friends of friends. But both of the girls actually currently have melanoma. So it is definitely a more serious episode today. But basically we just kind of...
We're covering everything. Yeah. So from how they found out, how far along and how, I guess, serious it is.
The treatments that they're currently receiving. Just kind of like, I guess, all of the things that they're facing every single day.
Yeah, even like the regular day-to-day things, like how you deal with the fact that you've got a very life-threatening illness every day and how you process that information. We kind of just talk about it from every angle as like a normal girl. We all are very close in age. We just kind of wanted to know how they actually deal with it. So
and also just, spreading the message and encouraging people to be sun-safe more than anything.
Yeah. Without further ado, we'll bring the girls in. But this is a very, very, I think probably the most touching podcast we've done so far, and we hope you guys can take away as much as we did from today's podcast, because we can't say how thankful we are to have both of the girls to come and take the time to spread this message.
Yeah. So let's bring them in.
All right. So welcome, Court and Gina.
Hello.
Hello. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for being here. Well, Court's always here.
I'm always
Poor
here.
old Court.
I'm in a different position today.
Literally, actually have to talk.
I'm scared.
No, don't be scared. You're not scared of us.
No.
And Gina's come all the way down from Brizzy. So
solid trek.
It is.
Big smoke,
solid
baby.
trek from Brisbane.
No, it is. We appreciate it. We're very grateful to have you guys here, and we just really appreciate you guys taking the time to come and talk to us and open up to us about something that is obviously so
serious
and important. So thank you, girls.
We appreciate you guys speaking out about it. It's important to us to raise awareness, so we appreciate it.
Oh,
I assume for you, Gina. I'm
No,
just
any platform is a huge deal because, I mean, for me, I guess I've come from a place where I've only been exposed to, giving, I guess, a platform in the sense of like social media and TV and that kind of thing and newspapers, and then you have people that come to you and say, well, because of your story, I've done this and I've done this, and, priceless.
That's so important.
Yeah, it is. It
so
totally is.
important.
And you really, because you do it knowing that you don't want other people to go through what you're going through. And so then you get to a point where if you can prevent that,
You want to be able to,
definitely.
For sure.
Well, we appreciate it.
Yeah.
So should we just jump straight into the questions? So we've got questions, some of them for both of you, most of them for both of you, and then some of them just for individually. So I guess you can just take turns at telling your answer. So tell us about your journeys. Like, how did you both find out that you have melanoma?
Mine's probably quicker than yours. Yours is a bit longer. Do you want me to go first?
Yeah, mine is very long.
So mine started about 3 years ago, and I had sort of family members say to me like, oh, you've got a mole on the back of your shoulder blade that like looks like it might be changing. It was on my back, so I didn't really notice it that much. And it was like a proper mole, one that you could feel, probably the size of like your pinky fingernail, like that kind of size.
So quite large for a mole.
Exactly. I think some people also think that sometimes the ones you can feel aren't the ones, and it's the freckles that are bad ones, or like, there's a lot of like misconceptions out there, but that's what mine was. I went to my dad's skin specialist because my dad has had melanomas in the past, and he looked at me everywhere and I said, oh, I'm concerned about this one. He said, it looks fine to me, but we'll just get a little shaving of it just to test it. They tested it, came back as level 4 in the way that they determine like skin cancer is level 1 to 5, and that sort of indicates the depth that it is into your skin. So level 5 is the worst, and mine was a level 4. So it was pretty much like, we need to get this chopped out now. So they sent me to the PA hospital in Brisbane with Dr. Smithers, who's like one of the best in the world. The Queensland have some great doctors because there's so much bad sun shit here.
Wow.
Of course. I did hear once, just to quickly interrupt, I heard once that Australia has the highest amount of skin cancer in the world and Queensland has the highest in Australia.
Yeah, it's like one in 17. I'm supposed are predicted to
That's
be
wild.
diagnosed by
That
their
is-
85th birthday.
Whoa.
Yeah,
Scary.
by the time you're 85, 1 in 17.
Wow.
So basically, they cut it out, got good margins, took one of my lymph nodes just for good measure, and then that was it. I was checked every 3 months on the Gold Coast and every 4 months in Brisbane, so I had to go back for post-op stuff with them. And then in late November last year, I felt a lump, nothing to do with a mole, was not a freckle. You couldn't see anything externally. And when I went to my doctor, I basically had to point his finger to where it was because he also couldn't feel it. Like, it was really deep in my arm. And thankfully I had lost a lot of weight over that period. Otherwise I would never have found it. There's no way. And so he was like, I'm sure it's nothing to be concerned about. We'll send you for some tests. So I went for a biopsy, ultrasound, PET scan, a whole bunch, the whole kit and caboodle, MRI, and it came back that it was stage 4 cancer and there was 2 of them there. So not an ideal situation.
lumps?
2 lumps there.
Far out.
Yeah. So my original doctor diagnosed me as stage 4, and then more recently my new oncologist diagnosed me as stage 3B, and it basically means the same thing treatment-wise, but just a bit of a different assessment between doctors. That's basically it. And now I'm starting I just started immunotherapy a couple of weeks ago. I had my second treatment today. I just raced here from there, basically.
She's a workaholic.
You
this
are,
woman.
yeah,
Yeah,
a weapon/workaholic.
Yeah, so that's pretty much it. They cut them out in early December, the 2 on my arm, and then now it's just about getting the treatment. It's pretty scary because doctors, I'm not sure, assume it'd be similar for you. They're very matter of fact and they don't
Totally.
gloss over anything
Yeah.
because they obviously need you to understand how serious it is. But they literally rattle off survival rates to you when you're sitting in a meeting,
horrible.
and it's
It's
oh my
horrible.
god. And he's
There's
like,
no sugarcoating.
no. So the doctor's just like, if you just have surgery today and you just go home, you have an 18% chance of survival. And I was like, fuck. And then I was like, so if I don't go home and I never leave here, what happens? And he was like, well, now we have this new treatment, which has only been available in the last few years, thank goodness. I lost my uncle to skin cancer several years ago, so he didn't have that opportunity. And so he said, this immunotherapy increases it by 50%. So, so I have like around
68.
68% chance of survival. So that's basically where it sits. So that's my story. Gina, what's your story?
A little bit different, but I actually found mine because it was a lump on my scalp. And I'd come home I was down at Bond on the Gold Coast, and I came home for a SEM. I just took a SEM off and came home, and my dad's a radiologist. And so there was one morning where I was like I kept brushing my hair, and this lump would bleed. Like, it was just every time it was weird. It looked like this weird blister. Like, it was so ugly. It was horrendous. And it would bleed when I brushed my hair. So I just said to Dad, I was like, can you just send me to someone to get this thing off? Like, it is so annoying. And even so, like, I went to a plastic surgeon within that week, and he was like, it looks pretty, like, it doesn't look like melanoma. Nothing, I wouldn't be too concerned, kind of thing. And then within a few days, he rang Dad and was like, guys, not good news. And
Is this like a friend of your dad's? Like,
well, yeah,
industry kind of.
Yeah, definitely. And so from that, and I mean, at that point in time, because how you're talking about the stages, mine was 3B, which isn't too bad. It's like not. I mean, obviously got to keep an eye on it, but it's not something you should be too worried about. And they say sort of like if it doesn't recur within 2 years, it's like a 95% chance that then it won't ever come back.
So your odds were looking good at that point.
Yeah, relatively. And so I went in for surgery. They removed more, so they took a huge portion of my scalp. And from that point, it was like nearly 2 years to the day. And like you felt the lump, I felt it in front of my ear, which is like right below the area that the lump was on, and it was like immediate. I knew it. Like it was just like I was in Singapore at the time, and I felt it, and I was like, holy shit! Like that sinking feeling. And because when I was at uni, like I did biomedical science down here, and there was one. I remember it so clearly. There was like a subject on cancer, and they'd said like if you ever feel a lymph node that's hard to touch. It doesn't hurt when you push on it. You know when you're sick and you feel your glands and they hurt? Yeah, so like I was pushing on this lump and it wasn't hurting. It wasn't moving under my fingers. Like lymph nodes are quite, agile.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Agile.
Yeah,
That's not the right word, but
They
like
move.
they move
Yeah.
around and it wasn't moving. And I knew it. Like I totally knew it. Anyway, came home, biopsied, and within the week, I was in for a level 3 head and neck dissection. So I was diagnosed with stage 3 melanoma. So I was stage 3, which just means it's still contained within your lymph nodes. And at that point, I had a level 3 head and neck dissection, which means they took 49 of my lymph nodes in my face, head and neck, and my salivary gland.
When you say they took that many lymph nodes out, is that like 49 like small incisions? Like how does that work?
Sorry, it's like one big scar. It starts up here, the top of my ear, all the way down behind my ear, and then all the way down my neck.
Wow.
And so they just open it.
I can't even see a scar at all.
Yeah, my surgeon was a weapon. Total weapon. Yeah,
amazing.
But so they literally.
My scars are very obvious.
Maybe you should go and see Gina's surgeon.
Well,
God.
mine's on my back. It stretches in a
Of
a
course,
way
it's in
that's
a
really
mobile,
hard.
such a mobile
Yeah.
spot.
Yeah, true.
Such a mobile spot. Anyway, so I had that removed, and then from that point on, I don't know, it just progressively got worse. I mean, from that point, it then showed up 3 more times in that sort of same area. I had radiation to that side of my face for 4 weeks, every day for 4 weeks, and then I started on a trial drug, which is the one that you're on right now, Nevo. But I had the combo, which was Ipi-Nevo, and Ipi is another immunotherapy drug that tends to have quite a bad tolerance rate in patients. So from that point, I don't know, I came off, I got hepatitis, I got colitis, I got all these hectic autoimmune issues. I had to go on steroids. So once you're on steroids and you're on trial, you get pulled off. So I was pulled off trial, and then from that point, it started showing up everywhere. It started showing up in my lungs. It's now, so where I'm at now is it's in my lungs, I had radiation to my lungs. It's now in my abdomen, it's in my pelvis, it's in my ovaries. Yeah, it's, it pops. And I've had surgeries on the ones that are quite superficial, but I mean, at the end of the day, there's not a lot you can do about the ones that are, deeper. So, I mean.
So is it like when you say is that melanoma or is it
so
cancer?
like tumours. So melanoma tumours.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
Okay.
I had a heap of them in my lungs. I've got a heap of them in my abdo fat now. I've got a big one in my abdomen, one in my ovary. I don't know if it's in my ovary or whether it's next to my ovary. They can't tell from the scans. They'd have to
And
go
is
in
this
there to
something
find
that's just like you found out like progressively every appointment?
Yeah, so between me starting, between it becoming stage 3
Yep.
and now is about 2.5 years.
Wow.
So it's just like progressively
Yep.
just does its thing. And I mean, that's the nature of melanoma. It's the nature
It's
of any cancer.
aggressive,
Yeah,
melanoma.
super aggressive. But I'm on Keytruda now, which is a different immunotherapy, and it seems like it's doing good things on the important stuff. So like
That's good.
Oh, it's in my liver as well, and the liver was the one has a huge effect on your prognosis. So like I got given 9 months ago, but I've been on Keytruda for about the same amount of time, and I've no more avid cancers in my lungs.
Wow.
It's shrinking my liver. But
Oh,
I'm getting mixed
amazing.
response. So I'm getting mixed response, which is tough because.
do you see multiple doctors?
No.
You just have
So
the one
I just
doctor.
have my one oncologist. Yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, so I've got a mixed response, which is tough because
Yeah, it's kind of.
it's working on the important stuff. It is working on the important stuff. But then at the end of the day, it's not working on the other stuff. So
Yeah.
it's complicated, very complicated.
That is so complicated.
It's like how, it's like, I guess it kind of goes back to like hope. It's like you still have to, obviously be really positive and stuff.
Mm.
And like hearing good news in turn would make you feel more positive, I guess. But then, yeah, that's just like seems so
it's
confusing.
funny. Like, we always laugh. Like my family always laughs. Like our good news is ridiculous. Like our good news is like, oh, it didn't grow by this much. It only grew by this much. It only grew by this much. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
It changes
good
your
news is just
yeah.
like crazy. Like we just laugh about it so much because I know it's like
What else can you do?
You got cancer everywhere. It's like, oh, this one's shrinking. That's great.
Yeah.
You honestly are. Like, I've obviously just met you, but you seem so upbeat and like positive. Like you just seem like you are a happy person.
I think you have to be. I mean,
yeah.
I definitely have my bad days. I definitely do
Yeah.
have my bad days. Not often, but I mean, what else do you do? Like, I'm not. Yeah, I don't want it to let it like overtake who I am, and I've always been like this. Do you know what I mean? Like, I can't.
Yeah.
Just because I'm going through, I'm like,
Like at the end of the day, you're still Gina and you're still Court. Like I think that's
exactly. And like I always say, you know, no one knows how, like, you could be hit by a car tomorrow. Do you know what I mean? And
Well,
like,
that's it.
you don't live like you're going to be hit by a car tomorrow. So why do I have to live like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's hard. It's hard to
feel like
explain.
that's
I guess, but
yeah.
we'll
good
get into
outlook
that a
there.
little bit more later on. But
yeah.
so you both said you're going through immunotherapy at the moment, and so are you, Gina, but it's a different kind.
Yeah. So similar mechanism, but different drug companies. Yeah.
Yeah, everybody reacts differently, and so they have to make
Yeah.
different cocktails.
Yeah,
definitely as
totally.
well.
So did you go straight into treatment straight after you found out you were sick, like, or about your condition? Like, how does it work? Does it happen the next day? Like,
Yeah.
we know, Court, because we've kind of been friends with you, I guess, since it started, that you had to get your eggs removed before you could start
treatment.
Like, how does the process work of?
So for me, it was chop the cancer out straight away because obviously it's in my arm, so it's a little bit easier to chop out than it is if it's in an organ. And so my doctors, their thought process was like, get it out. Some doctors don't say that because they like to see the effects of how the immunotherapy is working to actually visually see it shrinking. My doctors were like, get the fuckers out. So they took that out, and then they like to ideally start immunotherapy 12 weeks, somewhere in from week 1 to 12 of your operation. So you have sort of 12 weeks to start it is what they ideally liked for you to do. So I basically had this over the Christmas period, so a lot of things were closed. And I went like the 3rd of January, I think it was, for my first immuno. And when I got there, the doctor said, I've changed my mind. I think you need to speak to a fertility doctor. I'm only 33 years old and we don't know because it's a new drug what the impact could be. Results so far are showing there hasn't been a huge impact, but it hasn't been around long enough to really know. So it would be wise for you to speak to an expert. And my first instinct was like, no, like start now. I don't want to risk getting sicker. Like I don't care about that stuff. Like if I was desperate for a baby, probably have one or I can adopt one. Like I don't want to take that risk. But the doctors assured me that like, you know, you've got that 12-week period and, you know, I was like, maybe play the smart game and go get the eggs harvested. So because they knew what's going on with me, that process happened very quickly.
Yeah.
Thankfully, the doctors are, you know, very good and they like made room for me pretty much the next day when they opened after Christmas to speak to an expert. And because I was on the pill, I was lucky that the minute you come off the pill, that process can start. Like if I had to wait for my period naturally to happen, it could have been another month prolonged. So I started the whole, like, I guess what you see in the movies like IVF where you have to give yourself needles every day and all that kind of stuff. Unfortunately, I didn't respond to the IVF and my body was sort of like not fertile, I guess is the word. And so that I had another thing where it was like, oh, you've put, you know, your cancer treatment on hold, but you're probably not going to be able to get any eggs. And so it was like another like, fuck. But then they said, we're going to keep trying with the drugs. So I did it for like an extra 2 weeks compared to what normal people do. And I was on the highest dosage that you can get. And then thankfully they were able to harvest some eggs at the end. So not they like to get 15 to 20. I got 6, but they thought I was going to get 0 to 3. Wow. So it was a better result than, you know, they expected. So I have 6 eggs saved there if I ever want to use them. And then the next week I started my immunotherapy. So the thought process is like start it now as soon as possible. That was at least my experience.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard listening to that because I guess for me, I never got the option. And it actually makes me so mad, so mad because I don't know how you are as a person, but I like am just like destined to be a mum.
already.
No,
we literally have only been in your presence for like half an hour, and you already seem like such a family person.
But that is, you know, such a huge part of my life, and that's all I've ever wanted. Honestly, it's all I've ever wanted. Like, I'm the cluckiest, most ridiculous person ever when it comes to that kind of stuff, and I was never given that option. So I know when you saying, you know, you just wanted to get into it immediately. Like, how long did it take IVF take for you? Like, how many weeks?
I think it was like 4 weeks up in the end.
Yeah, and I guess because I've been doing this now for 2 years, I sort of look at it and I'm like, I wish I'd been given that option. And, you know, it's funny because I went and saw a gynecologist maybe a year ago, and my oncologist had basically said to me, like you're not gonna live long enough to have children. Like, there's just there's no way around it, essentially. But even so, like, I still would have liked to have had that option to be
or at least someone thinking of
like,
it.
I've even
you.
had you know, someone come up to me saying like, I will carry your baby if you can't. You know,
Oh
like,
my God,
But
amazing.
now I don't know what is going to happen to they don't know what immunotherapy does to your fertility
So
or your eggs.
there's no black and white. This is what happens if
not
you're
like
a female.
chemo.
It's
been
like
around
all
a
new.
long time, chemo, so they know.
It's super
But there
new.
is some evidence to show that it does impact men, because we can get autoimmune diseases from this treatment.
Yep.
And there is an autoimmune disease that affects men's fertility. So if they get that, there is some evidence for males, but there isn't for women. But they just
It's
don't
a
know.
safety precaution.
And
Whereas
yeah.
like with chemo, it's like you have to get it. We know it impacts your fertility.
Yeah.
And because I'd said to her, like, I got myself into a place where I was like, I just want to have a baby, doesn't matter what happens, just so that, like, you know, my family and think like they have a bit of me. Like, if this is when things were quite bad, and I was like, I kind of just wanted to carry a baby to term, and like, if something happened, you know, at least they've got me, you know, and I think like it was so tough for me at that point in time, but I now, like, I look at it and I'm like, and when I was saying I could have this baby, the gynecologist said to me, there's 2 cancers that you can give to your baby via your placenta, and it's melanoma. I can't remember what the other one is. I feel like it was breast cancer, but
As in when
you can give the
born, or
yeah.
like
So
a
usually what
gene?
happens is when people have cancer and they bring a baby to term, what it'll do is it'll increase your increase your growth hormones and all this stuff. And when you got a baby, when you're pregnant, and so it encourages the cancer to grow. Which means that so because you've got all these circulating growth hormones and whatever else, and I don't know what else. But
We have a friend who literally pretty much found out that she was pregnant and that she had
cancer,
a brain tumor, I think it was, at the same time. So then she basically decided to have the baby.
she had him early,
But that meant months of
Where she-
essentially growing
yeah.
the cancer and her body accelerating.
And I assume you can't get radiation and treatment when you're
No,
pregnant.
exactly. And
You
I
can't.
So
sort
as
of
soon
came
as-
to that
yeah.
point where I was like, I would rather have opted for that. But I mean, yeah. So
there's just so much to consider.
and that's it. It's totally,
It's kind of
there's
like-
like a lot of aspects.
Yeah.
It's so multi-layered. And
And you were like 22 or something when you found out, is that right?
yeah, 22 was when it became metastatic. Yeah.
What? Sorry,
And so
what
how
does
old were you,
metastatic
Courtney?
mean?
I'm 33 now, so I was 33.
Yeah.
The first
Wow.
time I was like 31.
Yeah. So metastatics, when it goes stage 4, so which means, so when it's in stage 3, it's still not great, but that's when it's in your lymph nodes.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's not great, but when it's metastatic, it means it's spread further in your lymph nodes. It's in organs, and once it goes into important organs, it starts affecting your prognosis a lot. But yeah, so I mean, for me, like, and I don't know whether you're someone that has ever wanted kids but that was a huge thing for me. Like when I found out that, it's probably not going to be a thing for me.
Yeah.
Never say never.
No, and that's the thing. Like they don't know if immunotherapy affects it or not. And the thing about that one in my ovaries that I was telling you about is that your ovaries are like called a sacred zone in your body. Like your body will do everything to protect that area, which is why they think that the one in my pelvis isn't shrinking in my ovaries isn't shrinking because my body's doing everything to prevent that drug getting into your, because it does this crazy, your body does this crazy thing where it just calls like it's sacred zones.
Like
reproductive
your
organs.
your like
Yeah.
ability to
As like a-
reproduce.
as like a
protects
protective
it.
mechanism for if you were growing a
Yeah,
baby.
yeah.
Whoa, that is
Yeah.
insane.
So they think that's why it's not working on the one that's in my ovaries. Yeah. It's nuts. It's cool. It's actually very cool.
Again,
I think
it's cool.
very cool.
Again,
Like,
it's so
body, let me
bittersweet.
in.
Like,
Yeah, it is. It
ugh.
is. It is definitely because you look at it like maybe that means that my eggs aren't getting affected. Because if it's not working on that, then maybe my
Jeez,
eggs
you're a
aren't being affected.
bloody ball of positivity. I'm like, bloody hell.
Finding a silver lining in a very, very wild
Literally.
Someone has to.
I
That's
love
it.
that. I really love that. So before we keep going with the rest of this podcast, let's just take a quick moment to talk about today's partner. When we thought about the brand that we wanted to work with today when speaking to such an important topic, we knew that it had to be a brand that was changing the way people think and talk about sun safety in Australia.
So we are so excited to share that we will be working with Mecca Cosmetica for today's episode. You may have seen their amazing campaign ad in the market which they launched earlier this year, Generation SPF, in conjunction with Call Time on Melanoma.
So Mecca Cosmetica and Call Time on Melanoma join forces to ensure that everybody everywhere is wearing sunscreen every day and reapplying it while they're at it. The duo set out to educate people about the importance of wearing sunscreen every single day, getting regular skin checks and being a change maker in their own social networks by spreading the sun safety message.
This is a topic that Nick and I didn't even really think about until recently, and now we are super passionate about it.
Seriously, sunscreen is the best anti-aging you can invest in. Did you know that the sun is the #1 cause of wrinkles? So if you're spending a fortune on your 10-step skincare routine, remember no amount of miracle moisturiser will protect your skin from sun damage or skin cancers like melanoma.
Mecca Cosmetica have their own line of hydrating, makeup-friendly sun essentials that slip right into your routine and makeup bag. They're all proudly tried and tested here in Australia. It's simple and effective beauty at its very best.
They also told us that their facial sunscreen, To Save Face SPF 50+ Super Screen, is their #1 bestseller.
It's actually our favourite face sunscreen, and for a good reason. It's non-oily, high-performing and so lightweight you can hardly feel it on your skin at all.
Plus it sits so well under your makeup and doesn't leave a white cast.
Mecca Cosmetica offers a range of primary and secondary SPF products which are all available online and in-store, and we will add a link in the show notes for you guys. So slip on some sunscreen and spread the word. We are Generation SPF. Are you in?
Come join us.
So I want to know, like, you've kind of spoken about the treatments you've received, and being someone that I really don't know much about this, what is involved. The treatments you've received plus the actual, I guess, cancer itself, does it impact your everyday life? So do you feel the same as you always did physically? Do you still go to work? Have you had to make changes to your diet? Like, how does it just impact your...
Yeah, because you both look like you both don't
both
look
look
sick.
healthy as
Yeah.
any person in this room. There's a few of us in this room.
Which is the tough part about it. I don't know if
Yeah.
you find that tough, but I find like I know it's a good thing when people are coming from a good place when they're like, "You look so good."
Well, that's it.
Yeah, and like I don't take that offensively. I'm like, thanks.
You're like, thank you,
Yeah,
queen.
I'd way rather look good than shit.
Yeah,
so.
well, shit. But I know that a lot of people that are in my position do not like that because it sort of puts them in a position where they feel as though I don't know because I'm sort of
can't
relate
relate.
to it. Yeah, I don't relate to it. Like I think that's a good thing that people turn around to me and like, you look healthy, you look fine.
I think it's like a mind fuck because you're like, oh, I feel fine and look fine and I'm not fine. You know,
Yeah.
I think that's definitely confusing. And I think it's also like people putting their stuff onto you. It's like, oh, well, she's not that sick. And it's like, but
And
it's
Oh,
not-
who
that's
on
the
earth
other
would
thing.
ever say that?
No, but
but
like people,
it
that's what
happens.
Like the way
It
you're
definitely
receiving the
happens.
information
It definitely
kind of.
happens. And
It's funny, this is the things people say to you and stuff. You don't even realize until like you're
I
in
don't
it and you're
think
like,
they
wow.
realize.
No.
I don't think they realize what they're saying either. And no, but yeah, 100%.
I think for me, sorry, Liz.
No, I was just going to say, like, I'm sure if someone would say to you, for example, like, oh, you just look so normal, it wouldn't be an insult though. Surely it would mean like,
No, but
you,
I wouldn't take it like that. But some people,
So
Yeah,
definitely.
yeah.
A lot of
Understand.
people do.
Yeah.
A lot of people do.
Wow.
But I mean, like I've definitely had people say like, I think I'm more upset than you are because I'm not showing.
or you're like, oh, come on, cunt, I'm
Sorry,
the one
this is
with
so hard.
melanoma.
Sorry, this
You
is so
right,
hard for
mate?
you.
Yeah.
Like,
Okay. You know, it's
Okay,
like,
yeah, enjoy your day. Bye.
I mean, I own my own business, so I have to. You know, I can't
Show
just
up.
sit at home.
you
and-
quite literally soldier on. It's insane how much you work.
So I feel, an obligation to make sure that I feel in myself, not for anyone else, but to be like, I'm not going to let this affect what I'm doing. But it definitely does affect me. Like, I'm definitely tired. And I know that there are things that are like more emotional triggers for me that, you have to watch out for thing mind bombs wherever you're going.
And can I tell you though, that is because it's early for you.
Yeah.
And it is, and at this point where I remember when I was where you are right now, it was tough trying to juggle when to feel certain ways.
Yeah.
I mean, now I'm at a point where I've just learned to accept. And I guess this comes with how much you're exposed to it too.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, no, I think I can completely understand where you're coming from with that. But it is just because it's early days, and this is a really hard part. That is a really tough part. Is just trying to manage how you deal with your own emotions, how you deal with everyone else's emotions.
Yeah, everyone else's emotions. That's
and that is the hard. Yeah, that's totally the hard part. I remember early days for me definitely. I think, and that was where I thought being young, having cancer was the worst part. Was that I was watching my friends, and still do watch my friends, getting epic promotions, moving overseas, having children, buying houses, and for a period of time there, I was so lost because I was like, I don't know what to do with myself. Like I'm so proud of them. And I'm so happy for them all. But
I feel like a bit like,
I'm like, fuck, man. Like I've been
what
stuck
am I doing?
Yeah, like I've got nothing. And then that was where I guess then when I started doing like fundraising and that kind of thing, I did find a definite purpose. And where for a long time I felt like I didn't have any purpose. Like I was like, why the fuck am I on this earth to have my life dangled in front of me like a carrot?
Oh,
Do you know what I mean? And like I couldn't
like felt a bit like stunted kind of like
and I think and it's odd, but I mean I feel like now that I've you learn to accept certain things and that kind of thing, and you want to make good out of a situation, and you will. Like I have no doubt that you'd be like that as well. Like you already are being so open and honest publicly about your situation.
Yeah.
And I remember when I was first about to start my immunotherapy trial. And I don't know if you guys have ever heard of Dear Melanoma or Emma Betts, but she's this beautiful, beautiful girl who ended up passing away from melanoma. And I've become really super close with her mum since that. And I read her blog right the night before I started my trial. And it was just like the most raw, honest, unbelievable thing to read because it helped me so much.
Because you could like resonate with it.
Yeah, and obviously like I was so scared. I didn't know what was going on, and that's why I think it's epic that you were being so open and honest about it online, because someone will come across that and be like, holy shit, like.
Hopefully.
And it's like,
No,
and you're
definitely,
literally.
I promise you, there will be more than one
I get
person.
lots of messages, people
There'll be
saying like,
more than
I'm
one
going to get my
person.
skin checked, and it's like, well, that makes me feel like, it's worth
And
sharing.
it's like amazing that like, this is happening to you, and it's not your first reaction obviously, but like one of the main things, and it's the same for you, is that you want awareness about it.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And I'm like, that's like so selfless.
It's because you feel so like you're not in control of this. Like I can't control anything that's happening to me. And it's like the one thing I can control is maybe making other people go and do something. So it makes you feel like you're taking the control back. It's not for yourself, but it's some form of control, I guess.
Yep.
So I think that's why I do it. I've had people say like, oh, you're just doing this for sympathy, or like,
Are you
I've
joking?
had people say you're making
people
up for
you know, or
attention.
internet trolls?
the people I know.
People I know.
What? Did you say fuck off? I'm not your friend anymore? Scram.
It genuinely fucking killed me. Like it killed me, which is why when you know how you're so open and public about your situation, I didn't do that. So I was telling you about that, how I came across Emma's blog.
Yeah.
I wanted to do that, but because of what people had said and that like you're making up for attention, I panicked and was like, shit, people are going to think that do other people think that? Like just, and I was like, I don't want to post because I don't want people to be like, oh, she's just doing this because she wants attention or and
It's fucking
comes into
crazy.
your brain, but like I'm in my 30s, so like I can be past that fucking bullshit that you have to deal with when you're younger and you care what everybody thinks about you as much, But it's just like I just wait up thinking like, yeah, there are people that know me, they're probably rolling their eyes or like, oh God, what's Courtney telling everyone this for? But it's like if one person like goes and gets tested and it saves them, then that's all that matters.
I'm honestly a little bit
I
stuck
agree.
on that. I hope you're not friends with these people anymore.
No, they're a bit unhealthy.
Quite
they're a bit
genuinely.
unwell. They're a bit unwell.
Send me their address. I will kill them.
Yeah, no.
Sorry, who are we killing?
Mental. Basically, sorry, Lucy just stepped out because she was busting to be. The girls, and I'm just not repeating this because I actually look forward to your reaction.
Oh, fuck me. Here we go.
The girls have both experienced, because we were just saying how amazing it is how they can share what they're going through on, social media or just in general. And they've both come across people saying they're doing that for sympathy.
Oh! What's their address? I will kill the cunts. I know this is a serious episode, but I will throw down a C-bomb in a moment like that.
But you and my parents and my army of friends, I'm like, yeah.
What the fuck?
People say some of the craziest shit too, and they don't. Like a lot of people
Who-
don't know what to say.
and
It's
the thing
hard.
Are these inbreds?
I think it's just that
Nothing
people
against
don't
inbreds.
understand. And like, I guess you get to a point where you're just like, I'm going to give these people the benefit of the doubt and be like, you just got absolutely no fucking idea. Hey,
Yeah.
like you just got.
I mean, until you're in it, like
Like-
you don't know, and I think like some of the things people say to me, I'm like, maybe I've said that to someone because you at the time you don't know, and it's like
You don't
people-
know, but I think you can still be empathetic.
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
I don't
Someone
know.
who does
Like,
not have skin cancer, as far as I'm aware, I do not ever look at your stories and think, oh, God, again with the sympathy.
I looked at your,
all.
I looked at your stories. I
I
looked at your stories and I went and got a skin check. I'm
Literally.
like,
That's what I want.
It's been a whole week.
there's two people in the world, fuckwits and good people. They're all in
See,
this room right
sometimes
now.
I'd like to know where these certain individuals
Where do you live?
and who do you hang out with? Where do you go on the weekends? Because it's certainly not anywhere near me. Like these. Oh.
I think it
Anyway.
probably, for me personally, it comes from the fact that like I get the man flu. So like when I have a cold, I'm like very dramatic about it. Like you wouldn't think that because, I have cancer. I'm not dramatic about it at all at work. I like keep going. But when I have a cold, it's like I want everyone to give me sympathy and be like, Courtney, are you all right? And like serve me. I want you to get
Again,
me things.
still not an excuse.
So I feel
Sorry.
like maybe that's where it's coming from because I am dramatic with the cold, but maybe not. I don't know. But yeah,
Wow.
But I
it's,
think that is the thing. You're always going to get people that just don't get it, and they will say things like, I had a woman of my, she's not my mum's friend, but a mutual friend, say, like I was down in Melbourne at the time with seeing a couple of my mates who lived down there, and the mum was like saying to one of my mum's friends, like, why is she even here? Why is she drinking? Why isn't she looking after her body? Like all this shit. And I was like, you know what? Fuck you, for starters. Like, walk 1 mile in my shoes and tell me if you had my life,
that you wouldn't need a
my
drink.
situation.
That you wouldn't need a fucking
Like-
chilled glass of rosé on a Friday
I
afternoon.
don't judge you for having a fucking wine in your hand every night, do I? Like, you live in
Literally.
Boston, you've got a wine in your hand. Like, I don't
think
judge
though,
you.
In every trauma kind of negative life experience, and my mum, my dad passed away when I was very young, and my mum kind of told me this after she experienced his passing, and people will cast judgment on your really tough situation no matter what you do.
Oh.
It's fucking ridiculous.
And the thing is, like, as positive as you can be, you can have 300, supportive, amazing
Yeah.
messages,
Friends.
Why do
comments,
you know?
phone calls, but it's just that one that'll knock you for six.
oh, and then
fucking oath.
you won't be able to get it out of your mind.
And it's like you build yourself up so much trying to be positive all the time, you're just like, and there's just the one comes along, you're like, fuck, now I'm knocked down 6 rings,
Yeah.
5 rings.
Literally.
Like, it's just, yeah.
That kind of leads us to our next question as well about like mindset. So like, like talk to us about that because obviously it is so traumatic, especially when you're dealing with absolute fucking lemons.
Yeah,
Like
I mean,
what-
I haven't had that in a while. I haven't had that in a while because obviously now people are like, shit, it's really serious. But
I'm just still shook. But like, yeah, did you like sort of start doing anything to strengthen your mindset or initially?
it depends on like, I don't know. Do you want to go?
I'm a very pragmatic person. Like at heart, it's like is the glass half empty? Is it half full? It's like there's water in the glass. Like it just is what it is for me, and that's just kind of how I've always been. And so I've had like this, this kind of thing happens, and everyone comes at you with the like self-help books, and like they're like, watch this documentary, listen to this, watch this person on Instagram, and they
DVDs
come at
and-
you,
yeah,
with
yeah.
that kind of stuff, which is just them trying to be helpful. And so I watched this documentary on Netflix called Heal. And it's all about the power of the mind able to heal disease and stuff like that. And obviously, I would never just be like, I'm giving up immunotherapy and I'm just thinking positive. But I'm trying to work on like how can being more positive and not pragmatic help me get, maybe it can be beneficial. So I have been like trying to do meditations as someone who's a workaholic. Switching my brain off is fucking hard. And also convincing myself that it's like my body is strong and healthy when I know that it's not. It's like it's very hard to do, but I am trying every day to do it. And I have like little affirmations on my computer that I print out to like kind of keep myself positive or whatever. But it's retraining your brain for my whole life to what I've been about to be hopeful.
Even the fact that you said positive or whatever.
That's
like,
I'm definitely not there.
Or whatever.
But I'm not. It's not like I'm like negative. I'm like I'm gonna die. I'm giving up on everything. This isn't gonna work. It's like it is what it is. I have cancer. I've got to get the treatment. I've got to leave my trust and faith in the doctors. They're gonna make it work. And like, what can I do to try and convince myself that I am like in a
You're trying to do your bit
mindset.
for yourself as well, I guess.
Yeah. So I'm learning this process. It doesn't come naturally to me, but so I am trying to make changes, I guess, is my answer. What's yours?
I feel like if I'm ever in like a bit of a schmood. I honestly, this happens more regularly than it should, but I will literally just go into my room. I'll put my speakers on, like volume 100, get naked.
Vibes.
Smash the bangers, like,
That's
and
gotta
I
be-
just dance, like it's weird because it's not that it, and like I'll send videos to my friends and like they're like, dude, I just fucking opened that when I was in a line and there's like people behind me, look at your tits everywhere. I was like, just videoing myself. I don't know. Like I think you just got to do the things that make you happy, and when you're in that sort of headspace, I know some days it is hard to pull yourself from that place, but and when that happens to me. Don't get me wrong, like this has probably only happened, like I can count on my one hand how many times this has happened, but I will just go to the shower, sit on the shower floor and just have a cry, like a huge cry. Clarifying that is with the water running. That's not just like me in the corner of the shower, my clothes, I'm like, where's the wine?
No, we knew what you meant.
No, I like, and I think that sometimes is just all you need.
Yeah.
Like have a cry, have a
Some sort of like emotional release, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, it's like you guys are going through something so like wildly traumatic. Has it put your perspective, has it changed your perspective? Like things that were so kind of, important to you in the past since kind of finding out and everything, has it changed your perspective? Like how do you kind of relate that? Because I feel like if I was in your shoes, I'm a wildly dramatic person. I would be like, I'll fucking kick up a stink about someone borrowing my clothes and then not returning them. Do you know what I mean? Like, and whereas like for you guys, how does it put things?
If you hear
into
someone like
perspective?
having a bitch about something, you like fucking shut
I
up.
still hate that.
Yeah, don't borrow our clothes.
Like, don't take my fucking
Take my
clothes.
I still hate that.
I think for me initially when I first the first day, second day when I got my like initial diagnosis this time round, I kind of did that whole like, what's my bucket list? Like, let's set myself up to make sure I don't have any regrets just in case this doesn't go right, and sort of looked at my life and was like, what are the things that, I wouldn't be happy about if I did die now? Like, what would I have regretted? And that was kind of the first mindset. But I think now the stage I'm in is like getting bogged down in the little things and doing the opposite. I get more angry at the little stuff than I would have before because I think I'm like still in it. It's still very new for me. So it's like little things at work. It's like someone says something and I'm just like, I'm not getting mad at anyone, but I'm like stewing over it more than I normally
Because you're like,
would
shut
have.
up, cunt, I've got cancer.
Yeah, literally. It's like
I
someone's
know what
like,
you mean.
how was your weekend? And like, oh, I'm tired. And it's like, you're fucking tired, and it's like, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
People can still be tired, of course. Like, I shouldn't be comparing, or like someone has a sniffle and like, oh, I'm sick. I'm like, oh, you're sick. That's fucking ridiculous. I know it's not a healthy place to be in, but I'm still new in this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You think
Yeah.
that
And
nothing,
I was about to
you
say,
think nothing's bigger than what you're going through. And so
At least
you're
you can
comparing
admit
yourself.
that, though,
you can-
Court.
that's
That's
massive.
and that is huge. That is huge because I guess when I first was, it's not that I wouldn't get necessarily mad over it, but I just in my head be like, yeah, you got fucking no idea. You've actually got no
Yeah.
idea.
Yeah.
But now I think like I'm in a place where I'm like everything's relative, and
Yeah.
like you will get to that. I promise
Yeah.
you'll get to that point where it's like if someone who's going through a breakup or they've had a shit day at work. Like, it doesn't change that they're still feeling like shit,
Yeah.
you know, and just because you might technically have it worse, you know, they're still having a shit day, and I'm still going to be there for them. And I've had a lot of my friends be like, I don't want to tell you things because at the end of the day, I don't want to. And that is literally the word they use. I don't want to burden you. It's like, your problems are still your problems, and
I'm still your friend.
Be there. I want to be there for them.
Like,
you know, I want to be there for those moments. And but I know what you mean. Like in those early days, I was the same. I was like, oh shit. Like, you got a sniffly nose. Same, dude.
I think for me, it's been like this week has been particularly hard. I think one of the hardest during this whole period. And one of my friends is going through like quite a serious thing in her life. And I have to say to her, like, I can't be the friend that you want me to be. I need to be the friend to myself right now. So I have to step back from you. So although I'm like, what you're going through is important, but you need to rely on somebody else right now because I need to give myself all that energy.
Yeah.
And so there are stages where it's like, you know, you can't have that burden and you need to be like, no, not right now. Down the track, maybe, but just this minute I need like a break from your dramas because you're investing your energy into giving them support and helping them. And it's like, I need to save it for myself this week, you know, so you kind of go through those stages too.
Oh, definitely.
That's amazing that you can at least, you know, recognize that as well. Like,
well, I left her for a few days and I think she felt it. And then I was like, I just need to like not be a coward and tell her like, I'm giving you, I need distance from you right now.
Yeah. Like you said, everything is relative, and it's like, as much as I'm sure your friends want to sympathize, because you can't empathize if you haven't physically been through it yourself, but sympathize with you guys in every situation. It's like, you also don't want to like estrange, like your best friends, for example, Gina, wouldn't want to estrange you by not telling you about their life, because it's like, at the core of it, you're friends, you know, like they would probably want to tell you just so that your friendship remains the same, and that's so they can talk to you, you know, which is, I'm sure, what your friend's going through, Courtney, but you're just like, not today, Felicia.
Yeah, this is a hard week, queen.
It's
Give me a break.
And that's it. Like, you've got to invest the time where you know it's necessary. And like, I'm currently at a point where I'm not, like, nothing's as heightened as it is for you right now. And like, that is with the time where you've got to take the self-care and you've got to put yourself first every single time, because if you don't, you know, you'll find yourself in places you didn't know you could get. You know, like, you find yourself in a hole and you're like, fuck, like, how am I going to get out of this? How am I going to get out of this? Like, you've got to look after, you definitely have to put yourself number one always.
I think, you know, for anyone who doesn't have cancer even, it's good to sort of understand, like, I'm always trying to check, like, the emotion I'm having right now, like, where has this come from? Like, it's obviously, even if you're just feeling it generally, nothing to do with cancer, and you're then trying to reflect on, like, well, what can I do to fix why I'm feeling this way? And it's like, I was feeling so triggered by my friend talking about her breakup and how hard her life was, and I was feeling like it was making me angry, because it's like, fuck, I'd give anything for just a breakup, you know? And I was like, recognizing that was a trigger point for me, so I had to then make a change in my life to acknowledge that it's not her or anything she's doing. And I said to her, it's not you, it's all on me. So I think it's important with anything that you're going through in your life to like recognize your emotion and like what is causing
what's
me
really
to feel
going
this.
on here. Like, I'm angry at her, but what's really going on here?
It's
like,
usually about you, not that person, you know.
And that's a huge thing, is that I never get angry at the people around me, but I will massively take it out on my family.
Oh, okay.
You know, like, and it's only because I know at the end of the day they're still going to be there.
Yeah, so true.
And it sucks because, like, I look at them, like, I walk away, so that's like, I go to bed some nights being like, holy shit, I was a fucking dick today. I was
today.
Literally though, like, and just shout at them for no reason, and just, you know what I mean? And that is because there is, like, obviously anger in my body somewhere, and it doesn't always, you know, rear its ugly head, but when it does, the people that cop it are the people that I love most. And that sucks. It's because you don't want to be that person, you know?
But I think, like you said, it's because you know they're going to forgive you as well.
I think that's also just human nature.
Yeah.
I don't think you're alone in that journey. Like, I think that that's very normal, and especially because they're probably just the person that's literally standing next to you when you're feeling that pissed off.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, you're not standing next to, like,
A stranger on the bus.
a stranger on the bus. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I think they're just probably physically there. You're feeling a certain way and you're pissed off, you know. Rightfully so, guys. You can yell at me any day you want.
Lucy's like, here if you
I
need.
do anyway, Lucy and I.
No, you never yell. And I
don't
would
yell.
never get angry at you for yelling. I'd be like, too right, we're fucking half an hour late. So
Fair dues, fair dues.
fair dues. So, Gina, you've recently got into a new relationship. I actually know him. He's a fucking absolute gem. He messaged me yesterday saying, you look after my Gina, you wild, crazy shit. And I said, fair dues. Fair dues.
You're like,
fair
your
dues.
girlfriend just referred to Rose as bitch diesel, so like, she could be taking me on a
Gina
ride.
messaged me and goes, yeah, let's get, what was it, bitch diesel?
Bitch diesel, yeah.
I
Keep
love
the
that.
bitch running.
Oh,
Keep the
like,
bitch
yeah.
Keeps the bitch running.
I was like, get her here now, my girl.
Literally.
Did he know of your condition before you became a couple? Like, I want to know, like, how that
Yeah,
worked.
so fair. So,
Because I feel like for our followers, it's like, as much as like they want to know about all the cancer stuff, it's like they want to know about you guys,
Real
how
life.
you're
Just living
feeling.
your life and
Yeah.
Lucy, you're asking this because you're trying to get me on Bumble, aren't you?
Oh my God,
Already
I'm
did.
dying.
she's already got your phone.
dying. for
No,
that.
we've already got her on Bumble.
Literally,
yeah, I
she's
love it.
got me on there, and I'm like, no. Nikki
Yeah,
literally was
'cause
like, any guy with a dog in his profile pic gets a yes.
I love dogs. That's the way to my heart, people. Get a pooch.
Oh, shit.
Pooch, it's a yes from her. But I want to know about that, Gina.
Yeah. So it's actually a bit red hot. He is one of my brother's best friends.
Oh.
Yeah. Chalkboard that.
Wow.
Yeah, no. But so, I mean, he's been there for like all of my like all the fundraisers, and he's heard all my speeches, and, you know, like he was well aware of what I was going through and has for a while.
What a fucking man. Sorry, can I
No,
just say?
and I'm about to tell you the story of like it actually is, you know, I'm such a whipped bitch too. It's so gross.
You're
You're hilarious.
But like he was the one that came to me about it, and we sat down, we had a conversation, and I said to him, I was like, look, I'm having fun for the minute. Like we were going hard and
Were
fast.
you hooking up?
Yeah, we're going
Yeah.
hard and fast, like really hard and fast.
Love that.
You're
No, like,
literally.
you know, it was like happening really quick pace, and he, you know, sat me down, and I said to him, I was like, look, I am having fun, but I will genuinely, and I mean this, like to you guys, I mean this when I said this, that if it's too hard, I understand. Like,
And I would totally understand you saying that. Like,
and I actually genuinely mean that. Like I was like, if it's too hard, it's fine. Like I've seen what this has done to some people and, you know, friends and relationships and stuff. And, you know, it's not an easy thing to be with someone when they've got so much motherfucking baggage. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And like, and anyway, he said to me, he was like, and he turned around and he was like, whatever you go through from now on, we go through together.
Oh,
And
angel.
I'm literally going to start crying.
and and he is, and he like, and he just
That is so nice. He's
and he said
honestly
to me,
an
and he
angel.
said to me, he said like someone who just loves him so much, like it said to him, you know, like you're an emotional guy, like are you sure you can handle this? And he said that he like turned around to his mum and was like, Mum, you can't help who you love,
Aww.
who you fall in love with. And
Holy moly.
for me, like for me, I was like, okay, where's the ring? Where's the ring?
I've got
Okay,
one word,
now.
and that is swoon.
Yeah.
Swoon.
Lunchy. Love you.
Lunchy.
Wow.
Love you, Lunchy.
What a fucking angel.
What did your brother say? Was your brother like, that's my little sister?
It was Jack was all right about it. He was all right about it. I think Jack was a bit. He's good. He's happy about it now because he like sees like we just laugh. Like honestly, we just laugh. Like
Yeah.
he's just, and that's what I need that in my life. You know, like someone who just you get home and he's just like you're always laughing.
Yeah.
So I think now that we're actually together, Jack's like, okay, I get it. But like
I
when it was
accept.
early days, Jack was like,
Well, because like that's just like a normal
Yeah.
issue as well, you know,
Oh,
like that.
definitely.
Like, don't date my sister, look after my sister.
Yeah, exactly. And like,
Wow.
And like, how did it work? Like, did you, like you obviously had to have a fairly serious chat when you started dating.
Yeah.
About
yeah.
everything going on, or like,
I mean, and like, I guess he knew the public side of it because, like, you know, I've had all my fundraisers and like I've had some interviews and I've had
Yep.
you know, news articles and things like that. He knew the public side of it. I think now it is hard that he hasn't been there for a lot of it because, like, trying to explain certain aspects of my life is just sometimes you're just like, fuck, I can't even be bothered. Like I can't be bothered explaining how shit it was when I was going through the, Ipi trial, or I can't be bothered with it. But he's so good and he's so understanding, and like he'll ask all these questions and then be like, am I asking too many questions? I'm like, no.
He sounds
I'm
like
like,
a fucking
ask them.
dreamboat.
I'm like,
What the
ask
hell?
the questions because I'm not going to tell you unless you ask questions. Like, I don't
You're
know
not going to be like,
I don't know
and
what
then
you
this
want to
one
know.
time I got the Ipi tribal.
Yeah. Tribal council.
Well,
Well, I've had three rosés and 2 tequilas.
She's tribal.
I'm tribal today.
She's tribal. No. And look, honestly, like, it's gross, like, how much I'm just in love with him. And I think it's because, it's because, like, it's one thing to show up and be, like, this positive light in the room when he walks in, like, he's just so funny and so he's infectious as fuck. And then it's another thing to actually stand by your word when being like, whatever you go through, we go through. And he has been there. Like, I've never had that
He's
before in
like
my life.
so
Like,
invested. He's there.
yeah,
with
and
you.
he
That's
just
amazing.
He gives so many shits. Like, it's just, you know what I mean? Like, he cares so much.
What
And, like,
I love that.
like, the other day, there was like a 5-minute period where mum and dad crossed over when I was at treatment on Tuesday. And he just like rings me on FaceTime and he's like, well, you can't be sitting there alone. So he rings me on FaceTime. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's just like one of those people that care a lot.
Yeah.
I am wildly impressed.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Lunchy, do you
babe.
hear that?
Lunchy, I used to work with Lunchy, actually, fun fact. And that's just so nice to hear. What a fucking ledge.
He's a ledge.
So how long have you been together for?
Oh, not long. We first ever got together at the Noosa Try, which was November.
Oh my God, wow. That is not long.
But you've known each other for a long time, obviously.
Yeah, we've known each other for a while. But he was probably one of my brother's friends that I like knew the least, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Well, if you know them well, sometimes you're probably not going to date them.
Like my little sister.
Yeah. Wow. So what do you guys both think has been the most challenging moment for you guys since you found out? I know you've already pre-thought of this because we sent you the questions already.
Well, I'm tossing up because I think like the most challenging week I think probably has been this one for me.
I hate that cord.
Literally.
I know, I literally just want to cuddle you.
Give her a hug. Go on, give her a hug.
No, don't touch me. I'll cry.
This is so nice.
I think, let me get through it if I can. So last Friday, I had a dream about my uncle who died of skin cancer.
Oh, wow.
And I haven't dreamt of him in years.
Yeah.
It came out of nowhere. We weren't talking about it, like nothing. And I actually woke myself up because I was crying.
I saw that on your
howling.
stories.
Yeah, and so I woke up on Friday morning feeling like very like, oh, fuck. Like,
Just rattled.
yeah, really rattled. I was okay. It was just like one thing in isolation. Then I sat in on the M. Davies interview, obviously, which is, I didn't know what it was that we were talking about. And I sit in on all of your podcasts because I produce them.
And you're like, M. Davies,
And-
this will be about fashion, surely.
Yeah. And then like you said, it was about grief and stuff, but I didn't know what had happened
What
to
she'd
her
been
mum.
through, right.
So obviously it's an episode about how her mum died of cancer. So I'm sitting there being like, fuck, hold it together. You're okay.
You did it amazing, by the way.
And so left that feeling like a bit, like,
Once again, rattled.
yeah. But it was okay. Then I got home and one of my staff, and she's also a close friend, posted that it was the anniversary of her dad dying of skin cancer 3 years ago. And I was just like, it was Valentine's Day as well. So it was just like, fuck me. This has hit me a little bit. I called mum to talk about it. It was my mum's brother who passed away. So I got quite upset from that. Put up an IGTV. I sort of try to document everything that's happening and try to be as real with my emotions as possible. With,
I love that you do that too, Court.
crying and stuff on there. And I was like, anyone that I was with today, it wasn't your fault. Trying to be like, Lucy, Nikki, this isn't your fault.
Oh my God.
And then literally posted it, and 3 minutes later got a phone call that my uncle was in hospital and was dying of cancer. And I had
Another uncle, a different one.
So my dad's brother. So I had to sit in the hospital for hours on the weekend staring at what I can be like, is this what's happening going to happen to me? And it's very hard not to put yourself
relate.
in that and be like, no, like mine's a different cancer and mine, I'm on the treatment and la la la. But it's hard not to sit it was very similar circumstances to my uncle who did die of skin cancer. So all in the end, it all looks the fucking same.
Yeah.
What it does to the body, and he had it it was everywhere in his body. He didn't know. He got told in January, and so we had no idea. He didn't tell anyone. So it was like completely out of the blue.
Both families on both sides.
Yeah, we have a lot of cancer in our family. Like I had to do a family tree for the geneticist the other day, and I was like, "Fuck me!" This is how we get killed, cancer definitely. But so I had to sit through the weekends watching someone die of cancer, and that was very difficult. But I think also one of the hardest parts is I'm trying not to make it about me. It's about my dad and his family, and it's that guilt that you feel from looking at someone and be like, no, it's not me, and then my mum and dad are trying to comfort me, and it's no, I'm comforting you, this is your brother, and it's and then my mum's triggered because she's
And
looking
also,
at
then
you're her brother.
you being like, fuck. Yeah.
So that's probably been the hardest this week. I
Well,
would say.
babe, that's a pretty fucking tough week in the office.
And then I didn't have a great reaction to my drugs today either. So I was a bit emotional at that. I had, I don't know, I'm not usually a very emotional person, but I had a reaction to the Nevo, my immunotherapy today, and it was causing chest pain and tightness in my chest. And it almost felt like an anxiety attack in that instant. And it was panic where I was because it goes through your brain, because they say, if this doesn't work, we have to try other things. And I want this fucking drug to work. I need this to work. And so you get that oh God, it's not working. What's going to happen? What if they can't have anything that's going to work for me? What if I'm getting an immune disease from this? That shit goes through your head in that split second.
Yeah.
And they just stopped it and then calmed down. I was okay. They gave me some other drugs to counteract it and I was okay then. But I'd had a reaction to the last one as well, a different form. So it does feel a bit am I going to react every
Someone
week?
give me
What's
some
happening?
fucking relief.
Literally.
Yeah.
And are these reactions what you're experiencing? Is that a side effect or is it just different for every person?
Well, every person can be different, but they just basically say to you, do you feel anything? Are you feeling anything? How do you feel? What about now? What about now? And you're just feeling everything in your body where's that tingle? Where's that?
ache in your elbow. You're is that?
Is that something? Because they're just it could be anything. And even my other doctors have said to me now, any prolonged headaches, itchy, anything
you have to flag
could
everything.
be melanoma again. It can come back in any form. And I think
that's just so scary
thing.
for life.
Yours was a lump, you know what I mean? And people think that it's a mole or a bad freckle.
Yeah.
And my second one was 2 lumps, and I was never told to look for fucking lumps. I just randomly found that.
That is so true because I didn't know that. That. I
you
thought
think
it
breast
was
cancer and you think it's a lump.
Exactly.
And that's the thing, that is 100% something I think about all the time is that I was so naive and so uneducated. And even when I was going through that first few years of having it, I had no idea how serious what I had was. Do you know what I mean? It's only been now that when you get given 6 months to live or you're fuck, do people actually realize how ridiculously serious skin cancer is? The concept of, you know what I mean? And they don't. Yeah. And that is why I guess I spent the last 2 years of doing what I do is because it's I don't want anyone else to go through this. And especially more so, it's I see what this shit does to my family.
Yeah.
It's no one fucking deserves that. No one deserves that. I mean, that's probably you say, what's the toughest moment? I don't really have a moment in particular, but for me, the toughest part is my family. We're such a close knit family, we're weirdly close.
We're literally about to drop her off with her whole family there for her mum's birthday or something.
Yeah.
Is it your mum's? It's your mum's birthday, isn't it?
My mum's birthday.
Is it your mum's birthday?
We're having the weekend on the Gold Coast.
It's my mum's birthday.
I was whoa, weird.
No, mum's was Valentine's Day, but I think for me, nothing ever in this world will prepare you for that pain in their eyes. Nothing for that feeling when you're just looking at them being fuck, you are hurting so much. I have watched this disease try and tear us apart as a family. And, desperation does some crazy shit to people, but when you're desperate for life, that is so unexplainable.
Yeah.
I've watched it try and tear us down individually. I've watched it try and tear us down as a family. I've watched it. Yeah. I don't know, like I've watched it, you know, as I was saying before, like make me into someone that I'm not proud of, you know, like I'm not proud of sometimes.
Oh, you should be proud of yourself, Gina, because you are
Yeah, but you know,
pretty
like, I've watched
amazing.
this motherfucker like hold me hostage to a shower floor, wondering like how the fuck am I gonna get up?
Fuck, this is heavy.
Oh, I just snorted. I just
Where are the
snorted that
tissues?
above you. I just snorted. But like I think that's the thing. Like I've watched this dick of a thing, just like, you know, that pain on my family's face when shit's not good is so fucking soul destroying. Like so soul destroying. And oh my God.
And
Too
it's
many
like for them-
rosés.
and like-
Too many rosés.
But like for them, they're probably
It's
just
the
like,
rosé, I swear it's the rosé.
oh,
Babe, honestly, just, I don't know. This is just talking to you both. You should both be so proud because you're both doing an astounding job, like an incredible, like there's no words.
I think like, even just before when you were saying, I think it's like that. I think the guilt is the hardest thing, you know.
Yeah. And you see your family try to be strong for you.
And that's it. It's
Yeah.
like your health, like they're dependent. Their happiness depends on your health, and it's something
Yeah.
that's so out of your control. So like, how do you deal with that? You know, like how do you handle that?
Next question.
fuck me.
Jesus Christ.
Sorry.
I want to take you both
Sorry,
home with me, and I
guys.
just want to hit the rosés all night and fucking.
Let's party, baby.
It's Monday.
I want to
Let's
sit on the
turn
shower
this-
floor with you and be there with you, clothed or nude with music.
Clothes,
Or nude with music. Should we combine the two? I don't know.
I don't know, guys. It's like what you are going through is like
Insane.
insane
And unfair.
and unfair. And it's just, I don't know, looking at you both, you just literally look so.
Don't say that.
No, we're okay. We accept it.
I lie.
I lie and
Tell me
beautiful.
how good I look every day of the week.
You do. It's just
throws my mind that it's like two people that I'm looking at just as the most upbeat. Don't want to use that word, but like people, healthy, you just look amazing. And it's just fucking from someone that it's like knows you both. Gina just met you, but like
feel like I've
looking
known
at
you
you
for
both,
bloody
and it's
ever.
like, I hate that this is happening to you.
I know,
I
it's-
hate so much that this is happening to you, and I just wish that especially people so young just didn't have to.
I know, and I
fucking
hate
deal
that that's the
with
only
this.
thing we can even say. You know what I mean? Like you talking
That's
about that,
all
it's
we
like
can
I don't
do.
even have anything else that we can say.
We can go and get a skin check.
Please do.
Do it.
I think also
We
like
did. No, we did.
the important thing for me now is like obviously I'm just doing what I can for this, and you know awareness is now what Jenna and I want to focus on, and that disgusting amount of glamorizing of tanning that goes on on Instagram is
Stupid
Yeah,
oil
does that
ads.
just
alarming.
shit you to tears
Yeah,
now?
I mean like
I'm not gonna lie. We have in the past unspun.
We have, yeah.
It's not only maybe I think it's been the last 12 months that the whole awareness that maybe
Yeah.
we now have has become.
and
a
since
thing.
court, like being so close to you, like quite literally, we got skin checks within a month.
Yeah.
I was just like, don't.
there's
fuck
still so
around.
many influencers being like tanning outside, getting a
Stupid
tan.
oil ones. They
Oh
fuck
god,
so
the ones I hate
much.
the most are like the oils that are also SPF. It's like that doesn't mean anything. That's fucked.
Doesn't that mean it is SPF though, like sunscreen?
But there's no point to it because it's also attracting
encouraging
the sun.
laying
Like,
in the sun.
It's pointless. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like get some fake tan if you want to look tanned. Like you don't need to have like you get a tan because it's damage.
I
It's
think
just
that-
your
and-
cells trying to regenerate themselves. That's what a tan is. They're damaged, and you don't fucking want that. The number one cancer for 15 to 39-year-olds is skin cancer. Someone dies every 5 hours from this fucker. Like, don't go in the fucking sun and tan. What are you doing? And it's like, it's not like breast cancer and lung cancer and all those things where it's like you can't really avoid it. Like
And,
you
yeah.
can fucking avoid this one for most cases.
yeah.
It's
Yeah.
preventable, like, you know, prevalence is high, but so is preventability.
Yeah.
Like, and that's
Yeah.
insane. Like, if you catch melanoma early enough, in 90% of cases, you will prevent life-threatening spread. Like, if you get
Wow.
if you get
And
melanoma,
those stats are like,
That's
go and get a
amazing.
skin check every year.
I'm telling you right now,
Yeah.
prognosis for melanoma is not good. It's not great. And so like why would you expose yourself to that? Like it just makes no sense to me. And like, I mean, I'm coming from a place that I obviously am now educated about the situation. I know what's going on. And I think that's why I guess, and you be in the same boat, is that we're doing what we do is because it is so vital. Like it is so vital. And, you know, we're growing up in this Australian summer culture where roasting yourself like a rotisserie chicken is the depiction of beauty.
Yeah.
And like
It's fucked.
I can promise you that when you are fighting for your life, a natural golden tan won't fucking matter.
Oh, not a fucking chance.
And like, and I think I do genuinely, and I'd like to hope that a lot of the reason is that people do that is because they don't genuinely know how, you know, damaging and horrible skin cancer can be.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, get a skin check. It's really not hard. It's actually not a hard thing to do. Like you both said you did it within a month. See your GP that specializes in skin checks, see a clinic, see a dermatologist, whatever it is. Look at yourself in the mirror for 5 minutes of your week and be like, whoa, that's grown, or that looks a bit weird. And just go and get checked. It's not worth, you know, you don't have to go through what I or Courtney's going through or what our families are going through to realize how important your skin is and how important
your
looking
health.
after
Isn't
your skin is.
the biggest organ on your entire
Yeah,
body?
yeah.
And that's what people probably don't remember because it's exposed to the external part of your body. But it's like that's a living and breathing thing. If you're doing a certain thing to it all the time, that's bad. It can't be good.
But it's not also just like when you're at the beach or you're by the pool. Like mine was on my right shoulder blade, which is exactly where the sun hits me when I drive my car every single day. So it's like it's not just when you're at the beach tanning. It's like all the time. You're exposed
Is that
to
why
the
you
sun.
always wear a bit of a sleeve now, Court?
Yeah, 'cause it's like I'm just scared of that shit being there. You know,
Yeah.
I wear sun cream every day now, always, and also it's better for wrinkles if you wear sun cream on your face.
Anti-aging.
You
Stunning.
know, but it's you got to think about that extra sun that you're getting as well. That
So true.
especially when you're living in Australia, it's like we're
Yeah,
so close to the
Queensland
The
equator.
whole
as
time
fuck.
we've been speaking about this, I'm thinking of me at the beach, and you're absolutely right. It's like I even go for a run in the morning. I don't put sunscreen on. I'm in the sun.
Yeah.
Like you can prevent it. Like you
Yeah.
can
Right.
fucking.
And the
lather
thing
up.
is, it's like you can. Nikki and I both went and got skin checks recently, and we are very lucky that nothing came back. Thank gosh. But we are honestly just the same as you do. Court slightly more on the pale side than me, but
Oh
Red
shit,
hair,
I'm
very
like
pale.
blue pale. I am
tell
literally
them
blue
what
pale.
what the skin doctor said to Lucy.
So when Courtney and when we
love
like started knowing Court well, and she was going through what she went through, Nikki and I both were like, well, we're like making it a goal of ours to go and get skin checks. And even before, so it had been something that we wanted to do, but like obviously knowing you, it became more prevalent in our minds. So we made sure we went and got skin checks, and we booked them together. I think I booked them for both of us, and we went separately. Very unusual man. Skin check, I will say. The odd.
Fruity, almost.
I had no bra on. I said, "Oh, I've got no bra on, but is it okay?" And he was kind of like,
No, didn't you
and
just take your top off?
And then I whipped my top off, and he goes, "Oh, no, unnecessary. Put your top back on." And he made me put my top back on. I said, "Wow, no one's ever fucking turned my tits away that quickly. They're fake. I'll have you know." Anyway, he did the skin check because he got to the kind of breast area and was like, "Oh, I'll take my top off." And he goes, "Oh, no. Anyway, I was all clear, all good. But should I have not been, it would have been the same as you guys. But he did tell me, he goes, "Oh, you've got fairly pale skin, don't you?" I was like, "Oh, I mean,
Seem paler.
I don't think it's that pale."
Have you met Courts?
Well, that's what, and like not even you, like even my brother Jim has like way more pale skin than me, and I wouldn't even say he's that pale. Like, you know, like I was like, oh, never really coined myself as pale, but no worries. And then he goes, "Oh yes, your skin," and he just kept going on. I was like, "Can't, you've rejected my tits, and now you're calling me pale? Give me a fucking break."
You obviously don't want to fuck me.
And he goes, "Oh, your skin. Oh, I know the type. Yes. your skin really reminds me of the kind of person that just needs to be hiding in a cave in Scotland. And I said, well, fuck me.
What?
You
Thanks
really
for those-
know how to
thanks for
kick a
those
girl
kind words.
while you've already fucking turned her tits away. Like, thank you very much for coming.
And again, that's back to relevance.
I wasn't that offended, but I was like,
Fuck that guy.
anyway, so go and get your
What a loser.
Go and get your
Maybe
skin
don't go to
checked.
him.
Because
Oh, it's so
it's important. You might become across a fruity doctor at the bulk billing place in Burleigh, but you know.
Oh, crazy. Crazy,
Good
crazy.
story.
No, but you guys
produce a good story.
It did.
For the
Never
podcast.
for the FTP.
Always FTP.
Thank you, Court. That was yours FTP moment. We did that for you. So you're both actually doing really fucking incredible things to raise awareness. Gina, you did a fundraiser last year that raised $144,000.
That
which
is
is
hectic.
fucking amazing. And Court, you're currently raising money to attend the Melanoma March in March, which I found a bit of a tongue twister, but it's relevant. Seriously, both of you so amazing. Tell us more about that. I want to know more because you've both made a pact, like made a statement today of making it aware that that's what means a
you're
lot to
so happy
you.
with
Like,
it.
tell us more.
Yeah, so this is the third year in a row that I've done the fundraiser that I do, which is lunching for melanoma. And then this past year, we had like Carl Stefanovic came and emceed it. It was the most epic day. We ended up
That is incredible.
yeah, no, it was very cool, very cool. And yeah, we ended up raising $144,000 for melanoma research, and then the year before that, we raised $100, and the year before that, we raised $200 in my garage.
what?
No, it was like 200. It was just like my girlfriends and I got together. We just like, it was like this thing. It was like everyone came in funky hats and raised $200. And then the year after, we made it bigger with like 190, raised $100,000, and then last year was the big one. And I guess there's two aspects of fundraising and, raising awareness stuff. There's like the really selfish aspect where you're like, well, if we raise enough money, there might be another trial that's going to help me. Like I'm not responding the way I should be to these treatments. And you're like, well, if I raise enough money, maybe, you can put it towards.
I wouldn't call that selfish.
Well, I don't call that.
I'd call that
the fact
fucking
that
admirable.
1 in 17 is supposed to have it in by that, you
I
might be
literally
thanking me.
had a doctor, my cancer surgeon, say to me, if you can hold on a few more years, there could be more things for you in the way of treatment. Like, he
Yeah.
literally said
and
that.
no dramas will do.
Yeah, I was like,
Noted.
I'll try
You
my best,
fuckwit.
thanks. But it's true. There's so many advances, especially
Yeah.
melanoma,
Yeah.
compared to like when my uncle was around. It was like
Definitely.
go home and die, basically. And now there's a lot more things that they can
Did
do.
they used to use chemo for it?
Yeah, and then they didn't realize
Chemo doesn't really.
work.
Chemo doesn't.
Yeah.
Really,
You
yeah.
were
My
saying
uncle
that
went through all the
before.
chemo stuff and it was pointless.
Yeah, but then there's also like the other side of it where, for example, like now having had several platforms to share my story, I get messages all the time on Instagram or whatever being like, I had my skin checked and I had melanoma, stage 1, removed, and I would never have done that if I hadn't heard your story. And
Yep.
then, these other ones being like, you literally have saved my life. Like I had stage 3, like, or a situation, like I remember a year later, this woman messaged me being like, I'm now in remission and I've been on immunotherapy, I'm now in remission. And like, there's just like all these crazy stories where I'm just like, this is why I do what I do.
It's like a
do. You know what I mean?
community.
Like this, and it is priceless. Like it is honestly, like for me, like I always wanted to be a doctor. Like that was what I, and obviously when this all went down, that just went on the back burner and that kind of thing. And I mean, I now look at it, I'm like, I'm saving lives now. Like my, like little
You are.
5-year-old
and you
Gina
both
would be
are.
so impressed with me right now. Like
Literally.
I'm, so, but no, I genuinely mean like when I get those messages, it is, you have no idea what that feels like. Like it is like, and I've had parents of people message me being like, I made my daughter who's 10 go and get a skin check and she just had something removed. And
Wow.
she's like, and it's because she's like, that woman was like, I saw your story on the Today Show and, we would never even thought of it.
For a 10-year-old girl, you'd
For
never
a 10-year-old, and you know what I mean? And like that's the thing, like I've been going around to schools lately because like that's where I think the biggest issue is at this moment. Like you've got to put into those kids who are growing up in a world where Instagram is so prominent and like these freaking tanning and oils and all this shit, and just like the idea of what beauty should be like. And so I've been like going around a lot of schools and talking to a lot of schools, and like even this woman came up to me when I was at the shopping centre, and she was like, my daughter, she's 5 years old, like she heard your speech and she came home and she relayed to me every single thing that you'd said. And she said, now every time we leave the house, she goes, Mummy, have you got a hat on? Mummy, are you wearing sunscreen?
Oh, that's
Mummy, are you doing this? Mummy, are you doing that? And like I've even got goosebumps now talking about like
Literally.
and that for me is like, that's all I need. You know, like especially when you get given time frames, like you've got 6 months to live.
I feel like the thing that is daunting for any human being, hearing some kind of like scale of time.
Oh, it's
I'd almost rather not
terrifying.
know. I'd be like, don't talk to me.
It's terrifying. And like you start making really fucking weird rash decisions too. Like, oh shit, well, I've only got 6 months, so I'm going to go and do this and I'm going to go and do that. And you're like, why did I do that? Like sign up for the news to try. Why did I do that?
But that's amazing.
Yeah.
You're like, I'm also puffed when I run.
It was horrendous. But no.
Yours is like sign up for the news to try. Mine would be like, I'm going to go on party for 3 weeks straight and I beat
Oh, trust me, I've done that. I've been there. I'm pretty sure I'm still on that 3 week.
Perfect.
I've been living in that 3 weeks for 2 years. But no, you know what I mean? Like, and that's all I need is like a few people, just even one person being like, thanks to
Hearing
you,
your message
thanks
and
to you,
absorbing
this
it.
is where I'm
Yeah.
at. And I know,
Oh,
and I
I
reckon
love
now
that.
that you're being like so open and honest and public, and like you're going to get so many of those.
Yeah, I've already.
And I'm
gotten
sure
a
you've
lot of
already,
people,
as I say,
yeah.
I'm sure you've already got.
I had a girl the other day that had to
them.
get one cut out because it was something, and so I was like, oh, well, that's good. I was actually thinking when you were saying you were like wanted to party, I was like, what was my reaction? I was like, I came in and I started being like teaching all the staff all my jobs. So then if I went like this
my
went bad,
God,
like,
of course
I was
you
working
fucking
so hard.
did.
I was fucking
Of
work.
course you did.
I'm like the polar opposite of a workaholic.
But like that is so you though. Like you're
know,
just
how
such a. That's not
Oh
boring.
my God.
I was like, guys,
I
I
am
need to
taking
learn
you
all of my
out.
jobs just in case.
I am
Oh my
taking you out. I'm
gosh.
getting you that lead. You'd be like,
I'm
silly
scared
girl.
to go with you.
And I will be on your Bumble the whole night. We'll be meeting up with about 4
Dog,
boys.
yes,
You'll
dog.
be
And
a
all
slut.
of them will have pooches.
Yeah, all the dogs.
No,
We'll have to meet them outdoors.
Sorry,
Oh God, here we
one
go.
time you've got to come out and fucking let your head out and get real lit with the chicks.
When's your next fundraiser?
It'll be in October.
We're coming.
Yeah, definitely. I would
Oh
love
my
you
God,
to.
I'm going to be
I'm
like
there and
crossing
I'm-
live.
We're already like because like I've got the best community. Bella, like
Oh yeah, one of
Bella's
our
on my
good friends
committee,
is good friends with Gina.
She like we last year, first year was like horrendous. We were so disorganized. We did it in a whole month. Like we did the entire thing in a whole month. And then last year we gave ourselves a little bit more time. I got back from overseas and gave ourselves about 8 weeks.
Yeah.
This year we're starting now.
Wow.
So it's going to be
Perfect.
even
It's
better.
gonna be better and
yeah,
bigger.
yeah. But no,
Well,
it's
sign me up.
yeah, definitely.
We would not, I wouldn't miss it.
Would not.
And
miss
you
it
know,
for the
it's
world.
funny. I actually did hear about your fundraiser before the last one, but I just wasn't privy to the whole situation. I had no idea. I was kind of like, oh, just saw a
Was
link.
it through Bella?
I don't even think it was through Bella. I think another
I don't
one
think
of
Bill
our-
was that. Maybe she wasn't.
No, Bella was at the last one.
Oh, yeah, last one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
she
I
was
was
on the
thinking about the
committee,
last one. But I just was like kind of unaware if it was. It wasn't until after that I started to hear more about it. But yeah, I won't miss it now. I'll be like, hello, everybody. It's Lucy and Nikki. We're reporting live from Gina's event.
With Courtney.
Now that Carl's been rehired by Today Show, I hope he makes time for me.
Carl, if you're listening, fucking show
Also,
up.
Hamish from Hamish and Andy, if you're listening,
Oh, another great
sort me
fit.
out.
Oh my God, Woodroot also if you're in the market for it.
Wood
No,
bang.
but also,
Also love
your-
Zoe way too much.
Love Zoe. Listened to her podcast this morning, so it's like would go both.
You're not picky. That's good.
I love that.
Either's good. Either works.
Swing both ways.
So, guys, I do want to know, like, as we've said, we've gotten skin checks since knowing Court's situation. Like, you guys are saying, like, what is the one thing that you guys want people to do? Like, what is the one? Wear sunscreen,
Yeah.
wear a hat. I know that sounds fucking like, oh, I don't need to wear a hat. And, like, even myself, I'm like, I won't wear a hat. But I'm like, I'm fucking will now.
I'm buying a cap.
There's
for
some
racing
funky
this.
shit out there now. There's some good stuff.
Trendy.
Trendy.
The little LA
What's that
cap.
one that what's that one that everyone wears?
Fedora.
No, the
Like a
brand.
colour?
Like a colour. That's
Oh, like a colour.
Yeah,
That'll
we've got a
do.
bucket hat at Jagger and Stone, by the way, if everyone's wondering.
Yeah, you can purchase
I'm going
it.
to send both
swipe
of you
up,
one.
swipe up to shop.
Yeah.
Yeah, is
you
there
both a
anywhere
bucket hat.
Like a hat.
where can people donate to as well?
We can put a link in the show notes for both of our things.
Or
for
there's a
fundraising.
great fundraiser coming up at the end of the year, I hear.
Buy tickets.
Buy a ticket, baby.
We're going to go all together and I'm going to get caught so late.
We're going to get you wasted.
I'm going to find your boyfriend.
Oh, God,
Good
wow.
boyfriend
One coming off of me.
You have to put your Bumble on my phone at least a month out so I can, you get there. There's like a whole table of dudes. Okay, now one at a time.
There's a whole table of dogs.
Dogs and dudes.
There's people with dogs and
We put Courtney on speed dating, like one at a time to the table. Okay, you can leave now because your dog is weird.
You've got a French bulldog, so you can stay.
Your dog is fucking my leg.
Scram.
Oh, girls, it's been more than a pleasure. It's just been an eye-opening and I'm very grateful that you guys have come and
Yeah. Thank you for
this has been the most meaningful podcast we've done so far, especially for the awareness that you've brought. And like these girls are very much in the same age as Nikki and I, a little bit above, a little bit below. And
Wow, rough.
it's
I'll stick with the same age, right? Okay.
Lucy's like, I'm not quite 30 yet.
Courtney, I'm not 33 yet. Let's not forget. But we're all so close in age. It's just so important to look after yourself and just take away what these girls have given up their time today to come and talk to you guys and
help
to
you,
talk to us,
yeah.
but to relate to you guys. How important this is, and it's just so important.
Yeah. Thank you, Queen.
Important.
Thank you for
Times
having
five.
us.
You.
Important.
Important,
Oh,
and it's so
And I'm
important.
so grateful, and it's literally one of those things. I'm so thankful that you guys spent time today talking about this.
No,
too.
thank you. No, thank you for. Talking on behalf of both of us.
I
here.
agree. I'm also thankful.
But like, thank you, for having us because it's obviously what we both care about so much.
Yeah,
and
it's
to
amazing.
give us a platform is all we can ask for.
And just that fucking strong, even just the way you guys talk about it. Like, I'm so impressed. by you
I'm so
both.
in admiration.
Yeah, I'm in
absolute
awe.
admiration.
we'll both be in the shower crying tonight, all right?
In my
No, you'll
clothes.
be having a
I'm in my
fucking-
clothes with no water running.
You'll have some rosés with us, and we'll just be fucking turned on the town. Might end up with a brown
And then
onion.
crying in the shower together.
But thank you guys.
Yeah,
Absolutely
thank
adore.
you. Adore you both.
Mwah.
Mwah.
Wow. Today's episode was brought to you by Mecca Cosmetica, where daily sun safety is non-negotiable. Visit www.mecca.com.au to join Generation SPF.
This podcast is part of the Spin Studio Network. To stay up to date with us, don't forget to subscribe to this podcast, leave us a review, and follow us on Instagram at @we_the_wild ones. Cheers, babes.